Wonderful. Nothing. All right. So as it is now, Nnamdi Kanu's judgment, which is scheduled to hold on the 20th day of November 2025, may not hold, according to the information we are receiving right now. Today is the 13th day of November 2025, just a few days to that judgment day, and Nnamdi Kanu has filed a motion to the appeal court requesting for 7 things he mentioned from this letter that was signed by him. Of course, I'm going to read out these 7 things for you. According to this news, it says, terrorism, Kanu asks court to halt upcoming judgment. Now, before I show you that 7 things that Nnamdi Kanu is requesting, let us really understand why he is requesting, that 7 thing. Let us read down this news. It says, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to suspend the judgment in his terrorism trial scheduled for November 20th. In a fresh motion filed on November 10 and personally signed by him, Kanu asked Justice James Omotosho to suspend judgment because, according to him, the proceedings were conducted under a repaired and non-existent law. Kanu, who recently disengaged his legal team led by a former Attorney General of the Federation, Chief Kanu Agabi San, contended that his trial contravenes Supreme Court directives and Section 2871 of the Constitution. He urged that the trial court is constitutionally bound to give effect to the Supreme Court's finding that count 15, now count 7, does not exist in law, urging that failure to do so renders all subsequent proceedings null and void. You see that particular thing I keep saying, that this is where Nnamdi Kanu stands, that show me the law. You say I commit an offense, yes, or you show me where it is in your law. If you can show me that, I will accept. But if you cannot show me that, I will not accept. This is what Nnamdi Kanu still stands. And before I read out the 7 things that Nnamdi Kanu is requesting for, I want to quickly say this because I was just watching a video a couple of minutes ago and I saw where one guy was analyzing this. And the guy said, is Nnamdi Kanu now afraid to enter into judgment? And I said, this guy is just talking out of ignorance. One thing you don't understand is that wise men think and they act. Oh yes. Nnamdi Kanu at this point is trying to make sure that every loophole is amended, is patched. Anywhere they could find or any document he needs to tender that day before the judgment will be passed, he needs to get them. He needs to make sure that all sectors are informed and everything is kept, in order. So for some people that may think, oh, is he afraid of judgment now? No, he's not. I'm very sure he's not, because he has stood his ground that he's not going to enter any case because he has not, defined any of Nigerian constitution. Now, I'm going to read out that 7 things that he's requesting for. I'm going to allow my brother to read it out, of course. But one thing I will always urge you is at this moment, you need to always pray for him. Yes, always pray for him. Pray for the state of Biafra. Pray for prisoners of conscience that God will continue to strengthen them, because this work no be child's play. I'm being honest to you. So please, I'm going to allow you to listen to him. Then you do well to drop your comment in the comment section. Don't forget, anything that happens in this case, I'm here to give it to you live and direct. All right. So all you need to do is just to do well to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification button so you get notified anytime I upload a video. All right. Please listen to my brother.
Motion on notice, brought pursuant to section 36 subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and under the inherent jurisdiction of the Honorable Court. Let me skip to the number 1. It says what it's asking for is 1, an order, staying the proceedings of the trial court in case number FHC ABJ CR /383/2015, which is his case. That's his case file. The federal government of Nigeria versus Nnamdi Kanu, currently pending before Justice Omotosho. The hearing and examination of the appeal pending against its decisions in the case, particularly on 1, its decision on the no case submission, its refusal to determine its jurisdiction and the validity of the count under which the appellant is being tried, and its foreclosure of the appellant's rights to defend the case by, fielding witnesses, and also saying any order as the Honorable Court may deem fit to make in the circumstances of the application. And Nnamdi Kanu has been filing lots of prayers and motions. And if you watch my yesterday video, you will see where I talked about Nnamdi Kanu being denied of everything he has applied for in the courts so far. And I think he has heard me from the dungeon and gone ahead to actually complain about it. Yeah, and I thank God for that. It means that the spirit is one. I complained about that because Omotosho has denied him all the 8 prayers he has ever made in court. So he's asking the appeal court, to look into those things that Omotosho refused to look into. And here it says grounds for the application. Now, 1, in spite of the jurisdictional questions raised before the trial court refused to rule on them, which is true. Also, the trial court refused to evaluate the evidence of the prosecution witnesses vis-a-vis the cross-examination questions to determine whether the evidence was discredited under cross-examination. And number 3, it says, though the appellant filed lists of witnesses to be called in defense of the case and indicated that the appellant's defense would come up and the appellant fields witnesses immediately, the court determines its jurisdiction and the validity of the counts. The trial court refused and held that the decision would only be given on the objections during judgments. I raised about it also, saying that Nnamdi Kanu wrote witnesses to be called, which is compelling witnesses that are the elite of society who are supposed to come and give testimony. But Omotosho never invited them, which is part of what I said yesterday, and I can see everything is being trying to be erected to be by going to the appeal court to complain also why those people were not actually brought. The trial court, while refusing to rule on the objection, foreclosed the appellant's right to defend the heinous allegations leveled against the appellant. The trial court has adjourned the matter for judgment on the 20th of November 2015. If the application is not granted, the appellant may be unlawfully convicted, without being afforded the opportunity of knowing the validity of the counts, jurisdiction of the trial court, and offering defense on the merits. Good. Further proceedings on the matter will stultify the appellant's right of appeal and any appellate decision fait accompli. The trial court and the appellant would not be prejudiced if the application is granted. The case having prolonged since the year 2015 only to commence before the instant court sometimes in this year 2025. And I said that many times that Justice Bintanyako has been handling this case for the past 10 years and never rushed into judgment. In fact, she was very slow in giving any decision at all in the court. But it seems as if Omotosho is in a haste for to give judgment for a case he doesn't even know. I can beat my chest and say Omotosho does not know anything about Nnamdi Kanu's case. He doesn't actually know about this case. He's just rushing it, based on what hearsays. Let me use that word. It is in the interest of justice to grant the application and allow the matter, taken on the merits. Signed by Nnamdi Kanu and I think he submitted in person. And there was also an affidavit in support of the motion for the stay of delivery of judgment pending the trial. That I, Nnamdi Kanu, male, Nigerian citizen, presently detained in the custody of the DSS, Abuja, do hereby make an oath and state as follows that I am the appellant, this and this, just an affidavit supporting, that written motion on notice, that actually he is the one that wrote it and this is what he wants, and it's just like stamping it. That's how the court works. This is what I have to say, and this is maybe not the spot. I've always said it, this is a step in the right direction. Justice is justice, and there is no crime in fighting for your own justice. Depends on how one sees right and wrong. Definitely Nnamdi Kanu is not afraid of judgment. He's not afraid to face the 20th of November. All he's trying to do is simple. He's trying to test the waters of the porosity of Omotosho's court, knowing very well that Omotosho handled this case for a very short time, and it looks very clearly that Omotosho is not abreast with what is going on in the court. This case was handed over to him, and he just took over the case, and he wants to rush into everything. In fact, if I even calculate the amount of time he has been in this case from July, maybe from May to now, and the amount of time spent on this case, I don't think it's up to 2 months. 2 months. It was so rushed, and this whole space of adjournment made the case look like it was wide, and that was very smart of Omotosho, cunningly smart, to make it look as if, okay, it's 6 months I handled this case, but actually it's not 6 months he handled the case. This case is more of 2 months. 2 months. Just remove all the adjournments, because the adjournments took like 4 months and 5 months adjournments. Actually 5 months so far in this case, and minus it from May, you will see that there is not much time spent in the court, and that's why you see most of the things he's interpreting are very wrong. So if he's not the person that will give a judgment or say a word in court about this case and you will accept it as a resource person, he doesn't have enough intelligence in this case. He doesn't know about the case. So look, if you check all the requests Nnamdi Kanu has been asking him to do, like the one I did in my last video, I listed 8 requests about the no case file submission, the no case submission, the jurisdiction issue, the repealed law issue, and this and striking out the case, and even the medical issue that Nnamdi Kanu had. You will see that Omotosho does not understand the political, interpretation of the case, the emotions attached to the case, and other things. He's just trying to rush up and push the files off his table because, he understands that there are people who are interested in seeing Nnamdi Kanu go to jail. That's what I know Omotosho understands, and he doesn't feel bad doing their bidding. That's very, very funny, because many people are gossiping here and there that he actually works for Governor Wike. And Governor Wike, Wike very well had issues the other day with a soldier in Abuja. Personally, I don't like talking about him, because these people are just people that, they are not in my, they are not in my diary, because I don't see them as human beings. That's the truth. I don't see Nigerian politicians as human beings. So I don't talk about them like that. The only reason I talk about Omotosho is because he's directly involved with Nnamdi Kanu's case. My job is simple, bring attention to the world on the plight of my people, fight for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and fight for Biafra. It's not difficult. I just stick to my job and I do my job. That's all I do. So I believe that Nnamdi Kanu is right to fight for his rights every point in time, because, but personally, if you ask me, I'll say, we know how all these motions go. End of the day, we know they will throw it away. We know they won't do anything about it, because they are all working together. But we'll keep on just doing it for the history, for filing. So we have to do it because of posterity, so that tomorrow people don't say, but you did not do this, but you did not do that. So Nnamdi Kanu is right, by filing all this, motions and prayers. I know many of them he has been filing has yielded no fruits for now, because we know that it's a gang up. There is a gang up against the Igbos and against Nnamdi Kanu. Definitely, we all know that. But what we keep doing is that we just keep following the due process blindly, and when it gets to any place we need to jump, we'll jump. Like Nnamdi Kanu, following his lawyers until he got to the point he felt, he can do this job better. He doesn't need them anymore. Or the lawyers were not actually interpreting his mind very well. So he had to take over the job and do it by himself. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because he's the one that is in that situation and he knows how best to handle it himself. Of course, he's a learned man and he has the right also to defend himself. So I don't think there's anything there. But definitely we keep on believing. We know very well that the Supreme Court, the High Court, the Appeal Court itself, it still belongs to the federal government. And I've always queried the federal government being a player and a coach at the same time. You are trying Nnamdi Kanu in a court and you are also keeping him in the dungeon all by yourself. You are the federal government, you are the lawyer, you are the judge, and you are also the prison itself. All these things don't make any sense in a sane society. But we are not in a sane society. We are in Nigeria where people cannot even interpret what the meaning of Nigeria is. Because if you successfully explain Nigeria to somebody and he understands it, you know very well that it's not Nigeria that you explain to the person. You understand? So that's it. Well, 2030 is on the way. Nnamdi Kanu's, life, will I call it, life, has already been ruined by this whole episode. So he's not afraid of anything because his life is devoted to fighting for me and you. That is why if you speak of Nnamdi Kanu, please respect his voice. Respect him. The reason why I dedicate my time for Nnamdi Kanu is because this man has done more for me than anybody in my life. This man is actually in this dungeon because of me. That's how I see it. Me. I don't know about you. But for me, Nnamdi Kanu is there for me. Because if Nnamdi Kanu gets Biafra, or at least Nnamdi Kanu gets something huge from Igbo, I will benefit from it. I will be a beneficiary of it. So why won't I dedicate my own platform for him? I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. He owns me right now. We are connected. We are connected, and I feel that connection every time. I on my camera, every time I stand in this place, talking. I feel that connection between me and Nnamdi Kanu is so strong. And as long as I'm alive, and as long as he's in that cell, I don't think I'm going to ever stop believing, never stop preaching, and never stop calling for his release. And of course, his freedom. It's not easy. If it's easy, people would have done it. Many people would have done it by now that he's been in the cell. It's not easy. People sometimes speak about Nnamdi Kanu. People will tell you, let him go and face trial. Let him go and face trial. Even Igbos, you see Igbos speaking like that. Our people are so defeated mentally. They don't even remember. They don't even understand their lives anymore. The Igbos have been defeated so much mentally, most importantly. That is the problem. I don't have a problem when you're defeated. I don't have a problem when, you lost the war. Definitely we lost the war. But when you're defeated mentally, you're finished. As a human being, you have to take hold of your mindset. Every day I watch Nnamdi Kanu in that cell. When it comes to court, the display he gives, it shows a man in the right mindset. This man is on lock. His mind is on lock. They've taken away his body, yes, but they've not taken away his mind. His mindset is on lock. Nothing can do him. And that makes me proud. Because there's nothing, you cannot imprison the mind. You can imprison only the body. But actually, if you allow people, they can imprison your mind. That's the truth. You can imprison your mind if you allow people to brainwash you or tell you what you are not. So you must guard your mindset. You must guard your mentality from lies, from propaganda, from fake news, and from disbelief. Because when you start disbelieving yourself as a person, on that moment you've lost yourself. Nnamdi Kanu is the hallmark of a true leader. And let's hope that the appeal court can at least look into this matter and do Nnamdi Kanu's bidding.
Will Biafra come?
It will come. Nigeria is going to break up. Nobody can do anything about it. Nobody.
Why are you so certain about it?
Because I know it will happen.
Do you think there should be Biafra?
Of course.
Did the Igbos miscalculate at some point in the history of Nigeria?
No. Well, as far as the war was concerned, it wasn't miscalculation. The war was not necessary. They shouldn't have gone to war. But they were provoked. Igbos had no choice but to go to the war. They had no choice other than to fight to defend it, to defend Igbo. I supported Ojukwu 1000%. They were pushed to the wall. They had to fight. They had to create their own country by fire, by force. Why did I go and visit my Usegu's mother? Why did you go? Why did I go to the east for my honeymoon? Why did I go to Lagos or go to somewhere else to do my honeymoon after marriage?
You went to the house of Chinua Achebe?
I went to Chinua Achebe in Nsukka University. I spent a night there. I went to Mercy, the author, what's his name now? It was president of the youth movement. He lived somewhere close to Enugu. You know, I went to see him and spent a night there.
Will Biafra come?
It will come. I mean, Nigeria's going to break up. Nobody can do anything about it. Nobody.
Why are you so certain?
Because I know it will happen. No country operated the way Nigeria has been operated can survive. It's not possible. All the rogues who are running the country down, who are doing all sorts of things they are doing now, will pass away. They will not be there forever.
So, after listening to it, what do you make of it? Drop your comment. As I always say, do not forget to pray for him. Thank you very much. I'm going to see you in my next video. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you.